deep dive of the week. For this week, we'll be talking about Black Birdo, a much requested driver for us to cover in our driver deep dive because it's one of the more controversial drivers in that she's been on our top 10. She's been a really, really powerful member of Ranked and had amazing coverage, one of the top coverage queens of 2021. And so we thought we'd pull back the curtain, and that was essentially the reason for this series, is to as you're looking and scrolling and seeing all those tracks, it's hard to really tell as you're looking at her coverage in the game. So we thought we'd pull the curtain aside and show you a little bit more about her coverage. And as you can see, there's a lot to talk about. So, Antelove, let's dive right in. Black Birdo. And for those at home, we have recorded this on the 1st of February, so things might have changed in future tours, but most of it will probably remain the same. She did debut in the Yoshi Tour 2021 and reappeared a number of times. Total of non-city tracks at level 6 is 22. She's got a number of cities in there as well, but really we just want to focus in on those non-nitro tracks, which would be 22. Starting with her overlap, assuming that Black Birdo is at level 6 and these other drivers are at level 6 as well, at least, the overlap with Penguin Toad is 7, along with Tanuki Rosalina. Then we have 3 drivers that overlap 6 times with Black Birdo. Those would be Pauline Rose, Luigi Painter, and Fire Rosalina. Oh, and then Toad. Cat Toad. So those 4 overlap 6 times at level 6. When we look at the number of drivers that overlap 5 times, there's only 2. That's Lakitu Party Time and Baby Mario Koala. And then there's a good number of drivers, 6 in total, that overlap 4 times. We're talking about Penguin Mario, Nabbit, Mario Sunshine, Luigi Lederhosen, King Babam, and Baby Peach Cherub. So, and that's the reason she probably has so much overlap is because she has so many tracks. And we'll get into each one of these here in a second. She does have 13 drivers that overlap 3 times. Again, 3 isn't a huge number, but just obviously making note of that. As we look at the tracks that are remaining, so we've taken off all of the coin box tracks. And kind of given her what we would consider tracks where you have other drivers available, but we kind of want to review and point out some of the top skills. And as you can see, this is a long list. So we'll start first with Cheep Cheep Island T. We have a few different drivers, 1 Lucky 7 being Peach Happy, and 2 Boomerang drivers, the Kangaroo Yoshi and the brand new, at least here, Luigi Vacation. So you have potentially some better options there, but when it comes to Birdo Black, if you have it at a high level, some of these drivers are new as in having come out since her, so you may not have them as a higher level as her, especially since he's in 100 pipe permanently, and these drivers are not. When we look at Choco Island 2R, there are 4 top skill drivers. We have Lucky 7 with Nabbit, Mario Chef, and Holidaisy, and then we have a Giant Banana driver with Mario Sunshine. Looking at DK Pass RT, this is probably one of the better ones for him. There are just 2 Lucky 7 drivers that have overlap with her, and those are Peach Happy and Mario Saddle of You. Donut Plains 2RT, you have a couple different skills here. When you're thinking about Lucky 7, we got Holidaisy and Luigi Painter, and then the Boomerang driver Yoshi Kangaroo. Now, Donut Plains 2T, this is probably the track where you probably have a better option than Black Birdo. We have a lot of different top skill drivers. We'll start with Lucky 7, which we have Party Time Lakitu, Luigi Painter, Peach Happy, and then we have a Boomerang driver with Shy Guy Ninja, and a Giant Banana driver with Mario Sunshine. So a lot of coverage there. So you may not be using Birdo Black. When we look at Choco Island 1T, you have Holidaisy and Mario Sunshine. You're starting to pick up on a trend here. We got a couple Mario Sunshines, got a couple Holidaisies. We have some Peach Happies. I think there's just a lot of overlap there. So Holidaisy and Mario Sunshine there for Choco Island 1T. For Choco Island 2T, we have Lakitu Party Time with Lucky 7, and then Shy Guy Ninja with the Boomerang, and probably Birdo Black's second most exclusive track. This would be because there's only one top skill driver. That is Remix Vanilla Lake 1T, you just have Painter Luigi with his lucky 7. Then we have Rosalina Ice World. This is the one that you're probably very familiar with. There are 2 lucky 7 drivers, Nabbit and Party Time Lakitu. And then we have Rosalina Ice World R, in which we have Pit Crew Toad, which is a super with Boomerang, and then 2 lucky 7 drivers, Nabbit and Lakitu Party Time. With Sunset Wilds, again, another Luigi Painter sighting with lucky 7 there, kind of tied there for the second most useful track, only behind Yoshi Circuit, which there is no top skill driver on. Birdo Black is by herself there. So a lot that we covered there, Antlev. What are your thoughts on all of her coverage with overlap and looking at all of these top skills, but not a grand amount of Coinbox drivers?
I just noticed that we missed one on the overlaps. Yellow Pit Crew Toad is also on Choco Island 2R, so that's another giant banana driver. They're super, but still one that we forgot to mention. Yeah. So Black Birdo is really, one of the most controversial drivers in the game, I would say. There's a lot of debates last year on how good is she actually. For some, the best driver of 2021 by far. For others, totally overrated. I actually think both of these opinions are correct, but it depends on the context. Okay. So she has the Bob-omb Cannon, which is one of the worst skills. Your strategy there is basically just front running for coin frenzies. 22 non-city tracks overall, one of the highest in the game, and I think she has I think 11 or 12 cities as well. So she's got an absolutely huge amount of tracks. And only 10 of her 22 non-cities are covered by a Coinbox driver. She's been ranked a ton, and she's got a lot of tracks that are heavily paywalled. That sounds good, but yeah, I mean, you have to look a bit further. Looking into non-Coinbox tracks, you see only one that doesn't have overlap with a plus skill driver, which is an older track with 3 super drivers as top shelves. You probably already had one covered. And looking at the other tracks, it's not even like there's a lot of tracks where she only has one overlap with the plus skill driver. She has multiple plus skill drivers on the vast majority of her non-Coinbox tracks. Only 2 of them she's only got a single overlap, and that's Painter Luigi. And that goes all the way up to 5 overlaps on Donut Plains 2T. On top of that, 7 of those 12 non-Coinbox tracks have super drivers as top shelves. So, should you invest in Black Birdo? That is highly dependent on your account. If you look at the extreme ends of the spectrum, where at one point you've got a fresh start new account with no items, she is one of the best drivers in the game, guaranteed top 3 to have. Maybe only Shy Guy Ninja and Peach Explorer might be better, but arguably with her ranked appearances and paywalls, she could be the best driver in the game just because her coverage is so good. If you have a new account, you probably would love to have her. On the other end, if you have a whale account, an advanced account where you're heavily invested in Coinbox drivers, in Lucky 7 drivers, Boomerang, Giant Banana, she may not have as much use for you. She could be effectively useless. So to those of you watching this, your account is probably somewhere in the middle, and you need to assess it and figure out where you fall on the spectrum and how much use she can give to you. Black Birdo is a case study in the inevitable obsolescence of bad skill drivers. If you're taking a long-term view on building your account, you might want to avoid spending tickets, because eventually they might end up being wasted tickets. So, who should invest? Newer free-to-play accounts that I would say, if you don't have at least 3 of the following drivers at a high level, she might be interesting for you. That's Painter Luigi, Party Time Lakitu, Gold King Bob-omb, Nabbit, Mario Sunshine, and Holidaisy. Those 6 drivers, if you have 3 or more at a high level, then probably overlap too much and she's not as useful for you. Who should not invest? Yeah, so very advanced accounts with a lot of plus skill drivers, or if you don't care that much about ranked and you're trying to be really efficient with your tickets and invest for the long term, I think you could also avoid putting tickets here, especially if you're more interested in ACR than ranked. That's basically all I have to say about it. I don't use her too much on my main account. If I had her on my free-to-play account, I would invest because she would be so useful, but I don't. So, yeah, Stuff, what do you think? Do you have her? Do you have her leveled? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I have her leveled at probably a mid level, to be honest with you. I don't know off the top of my head. It's probably like 4 or 5 just from different packs
Mm.
she's been in. But I honestly haven't used her at all. In fact, I don't even know if I've used her in multiplayer. That's just because for a really, as you mentioned, like a Dolphin Plus account, she's nearly obsolete. For anyone who's like playing the meta level strategy and able to and having the luxury of being able to take all these drivers you see in this long list to level 7. So literally every one of these drivers that you see here, I have at level 7. So um, like here on this the right side of the screen. So for me, like she is obsolete. She does not matter to me. But I think if you don't have that luxury, if you don't have enough tickets, if you can't take these things to 7, she's amazing for you, and she look how many drivers you don't have to invest in. You could put all of your tickets in her and save all these other tickets. So if you want to think about like bang for your buck, to try to kind of punch above your weight class, as we like to say, I think she could be extremely valuable for that free to play gold pass only type of account. And honestly, that's probably the majority of the community in general at large. I think those in Discord and those in, that we talk to in ER, they're obviously not of that, not necessarily representing the majority, but more of an elite immunity. Elite minority. So from that perspective, I think this probably for the general community is not a bad investment, and probably makes sense why she was at the top of our list. But again, the higher up you go in that pecking order, or kind of that the food chain there, you're probably going to have much less value. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Anytime that we're talking about a top 10 list or anything like that, it's not a one size fits all. It does matter based on your account, and you have to be able to either use the BAM and GURBS, look at resources like this, or any of the other amazing resources out there. So I know, Antilev, you have a great cart overlap, and there's a lot of other great resources out there. So the community has grown to advance quite a lot in the last 3 years. So use the resources that we have at hand, and appreciate you guys joining. Anything you want to say, Antilev, or did that cover it?
No, I think you covered most of how I mean. One thing I will say is because she was on top of the rundown rankings for a long time and still top 10. I think it just illustrates how difficult it is to make a driver ranking that is relevant to everyone in the game, because you are in such a different situation as a newer or free to play player than you are as a quote unquote whale. So I mean that's you may look and see Black Birdo at the top of the rankings, be like, that's ridiculous. But for that, maybe for your account that's the case. But for a lot of people, it's not the case. So yeah, that's. But otherwise, I think mostly covered everything there is to say.
The other thing I will say on this is that none of this information talks about her ranked coverage, but she had a really
Exactly.
good year in 2021 with ranked, and so I think that's another part is that for the free to play and for the gold pass only, ranked is so important. For us whales, ranked doesn't matter that much. In fact, we were talking beforehand. I don't. I think you just did ranked, like we ran one time on every track just to get it done. For your ranked for your main account. So that's
Hmm.
for whales, ranked is less important. For free to play, gold pass only, ranked is so important, and so we that isn't covered here on the screen, and so it's even more important, or it was more important. Now I think that doesn't necessarily matter as much as we're going going forward. What's her value? Because ranked's already in the past. But one last thing I'll point out: if you look at the overlap, we talked a lot of we talked many times about Luigi Painter, right? He's got 6 times, and there's so many tracks here on the right that he covers. But this screen on the right just covers the top skills. When you look at what other drivers she overlaps with, you're looking at Penguin Toad. You're looking at Pauline Rose, Fire Rosalina. These Cat Toad. If you remember in ranked, and they just were getting all these courses all together. You saw the same drivers over and over in ranked. It was these 4 or 5, and so Birdo Black. I mean, you basically had to just pick one and ride it out. Her ride was just a little bit longer, a little bit more. Glorified, but ultimately they all kind of rode together in this not top skill caravan together. So it's just interesting when you look at it. Birdo Black, there's if you thought Luigi Painter was a lot on that right side of the screen, just look at all these other drivers that had just as much, if not more, overlap with that didn't have top skills that we didn't show here. And really, that's from that perspective. I think it's just really important to kind of put that context on it. That Birdo Black did have a lot of coverage, all with these kind of same drivers that came out around the same time, and they all kind of ran this this gauntlet of ranked all together. So that was the last one part I wanted to throw in there. But thank you again for helping us out, Antelab, and putting some of this information together. If you have a recommendation for a driver deep dive of the week, feel free to comment, and we'd love to hear your feedback. At least let us know if this was helpful. But we'll see you on either Kart Talk or The Rundown, and may the friends of luck be with you. See you guys.